University. Very experienced, twice a world champion in 94 and 95 in the lightweight 4. So the British experience, but so are the Americans.
Ooh, having trouble there with the rough water, but they're just still trying to settle in. But they're up a little bit. They're up around the 35 strokes a minute mark to the United States, who are at 33. The United States sitting there very comfortably, sitting there in the rough water, just making sure they're putting the strokes together one at a time and looking very, very relaxed and loose. The British really racing for it, trying to find a rhythm together, trying to lock it together. Zimbabwe sitting there in third place at the moment.
Mexicans out on the far side. Interesting. No entry last year from the Mexicans in this particular boat class, but they'd have it all to do against the two crews leading up there. If they could get anywhere near the bronze medal, that would be very good. But through the first quarter, and it's America who narrowly have the advantage from Britain. On the far side, Mexico, then Zimbabwe, and looking at the back there, Argentina not doing as well as we'd expected in lane number 3, I have to say.
Well, the conditions look pretty nasty here. You can see how difficult it is to hold onto your blades all the time. Quite a few of the crews are losing blades and catching them again. But it's the same for everyone. That's why you've got to think in your head. Whatever's happening in my boat, someone else is having to contend with it in another boat. And here you can see the Great British crew and also the American crew, neck and neck, bow ball for bow ball, changing the lead all the time. Jane Hall must be pretty exhausted. She's already had to do 4 very, very close races this week in the lightweight double, and she's now got into the boat to do a very long race in the pair.
Having said that, Miriam, Jane is one person who just loves to row.
And she loves this type of race as well. Neck and neck, that's the way she likes it.
Well, she's going to guide Malindi. Not quite as experienced. This, by my reckoning, this is Jane's 7th World Championships, whereas Malindi, this is World Championship number 3 for her.
Yes, Melinda's also a very good racer as well. She's tried out for the double in her single. She's not as natural as Sculler, but she is a very, very good racer. Both these girls are.
Well, Malindi, great opportunity here to get a gold medal. So far in the World Championships in her international career, she's had silver, she's had bronze, so looking for that gold to at least complete the set. But Linda Murray, she's tough. She knows what this is all about. She's had 17 years experience.
Yes, and she enjoys racing as well. She's been in the lightweight 4 up until it was dropped, and then she took over in the lightweight pair. And I think she felt last year they was robbed. She felt that the conditions meant that they got very cold and they didn't perform as well in their race as they were expected to do and as she wanted to do. So she's back here again to get her revenge.
Well, this is fascinating because these two crews are away from the rest now as we come to the halfway stage, and there's nothing in it, really. The British, if anything, have just got their bow ahead there as we come through the halfway mark, and it's Great Britain fractionally from the United States, but you get nothing for leading at halfway. It's leading at the finish that really matters. And Linda Murray, Rachel Anderson, interesting Rachel on the right there, born in Singapore, keen cross-country skier in the wintertime.
Not in Singapore, I should hope.
Not in Singapore, no.
Perhaps water skiing.
But she's still studying, and, well, I'm sure she's enjoying this first taste of the World Championships.
I'm sure she's enjoying this race. It's a pretty close one, and the lead's still being exchanged between those bow balls. You can see 1 minute the Americans surge ahead, and then you see the Brits come back. You can see Jane take a quick look round there, and they're going past the athletes' enclosure there, and you can see people standing watching this exciting race.
Well, this is also interesting because the battle for the bronze medal, worth remembering that there are 1 or 2 crews there who would really value a bronze medal, and Zimbabwe and Mexico at the moment are fighting it out. Argentina are the crew who at the moment are lagging a little bit.
If you watch the British pair, they're very close to the boys on this side. They're having quite a struggle to keep off the boys on this side. Yeah, the steering is difficult in these conditions because the wind's coming off the side of the number 6 station a little bit. Headwind, but just slightly off the side, and that's making it quite difficult for steering.
Well, here are the Zimbabweans, Jill Lancaster and Nicola Davis. Well, quite interesting. They're well behind, but they're certainly at the moment, Dan, they're getting the better of the other 2 crews. And Argentina, who've had real problems in this difficult water. But now Jane and Malindi being tested again by the Americans.
Now, this really is real battling stuff, and for lightweights into this headwind, it's a long, long race. But it looks like the British have just got the edge again. They're beginning to move now. They've moved. They're moving well, and they've taken about a third of a length out of the American pair.
Last quarter of the race now, and it really is very difficult.
This is where it really counts, especially in a crew that's been together for a long time. When you get tired, it becomes more natural, whereas the Brits have only just got together. Are they going to be able to hold it together for this last 500 metres when they haven't rowed that much as a crew?
But this is also, Miriam, about she who wants it most.
Blood and guts.
Absolutely. Zimbabwe now in a solid third place, and this is looking very good for them.
Yes, it looks like the Brits also got half a canvas lead. Jane's looking round again, but look, can you see the water? It's chopping up. It's still quite rough at this part of the course, and the rate's beginning to go up. You can see the Americans have lifted the rate slightly. Jane's rate was already pretty high, so we can see how much can the Americans dig deep to get out of this.
Well, they're now back to almost level pegging now. The two bow balls are virtually in line, and this is perhaps the moment where the decisive move is going to come. 2:50 to go, and down the Americans fractionally. Well, just as I say that, the two British women just push back again.
This is fantastic. It really has been an incredible race between them. The Americans have finally moved from 33 to 37. They've gone right up, but the British have taken back the lead again. They're about a half a canvas ahead. Jane Hall at 38 now, and it looks like they're going to just about edge it. The United States are going to have to do a lot to get back on terms. They're up to 39 now, the United States, and it's still very, very close here.
Linda on the far side looking to raise it again now, and just beginning to do exactly that now with Rachel on the far side. This is another question asked of the British now, and can Jane Hall and Malindi hold them off? They are literally together. We're not quite on the line there. Very difficult to see. Driving towards the line now. The British and the Americans on the top of the picture there, and they've just about done it. A fantastic race, which the Americans snatch in the last 50 metres.
Incredible finish there, and these two pairs left the rest way, way behind. But how the United States came back again in that last 250 metres and just pit the British there on the line. But what a great effort from the British pair. Completely new combination there with so little time to get it together.
And a first ever medal for Africa, Zimbabwe finishing in the bronze medal position.
Good 30 seconds there between first and second, and then down to third. But what a race it was. I mean, that was one of the closest races all the way down the course that we've seen today.
Yeah, really head-to-head stuff. And it's a pity in such circumstances that there has to be a loser. Well, the Americans had to wait a good hour before they received their gold medals. A little bit of controversy here on the Henley Regatta course. The British protested, complained that they'd caught some weed on the rudder. The umpire came round. He confirmed that that was exactly right and decided that there should be a re-row between the Americans and the British after a suitable period of recovery. However, that was then considered by FISA, who decided that the result should stand. And I think that's probably the first time that I can remember FISA overturning an umpire's decision. So the British have to settle for silver, but these two from Zimbabwe, very, very happy to become the first Africans to achieve a World Championship medal. Jane Lancaster and Nicola Davis.
It's been a full day. It's been a long week waiting to race and then waiting to find out the results. We definitely went the whole roller coaster, realizing that we had won, which took some time. We weren't even quite sure. It was so close for most of the race, and then back down with what's the decision going to be, and waiting, and then kind of coming to terms with that, and then all of a sudden to find out that they had decided it, and so it's right back up again. But a great ending to the day.
From the 13 who started out in search of a place in the final, these are the 6 who've made it through to the medal challenge for the men's lightweight pairs. France won this title a year ago. Right on the far side, Stefan Luscher and Bernd Stomporowski for Germany in lane number 1. Then lane 2, Chile, who were bronze medalists, this pair, a year ago. Then Italy, silver medalist, different partnership this time though. Stefano Bassolini, the man in the bow, the man who a year ago won the lightweight single sculls title. Ireland, that's Neville Maxwell and Anthony O'Connor. Anthony in the stroke seat. France, Jean-Baptiste Dupuy, he's in with the man who won this last year, Jean-Christophe Bett, the man in the stroke seat. And then Denmark, Jesper Kroch and Morten, I should say, Hansen for Denmark. Now that gives you a really good idea of just what it's like.
Yeah, these kind of conditions are even tougher for lightweights, and it just slows that race down. But Denmark getting off pretty well there in that first few strokes. Got a lot of experience in the Irish pair. We can see how they're rolling around, finding it very, very difficult because the water builds up over the course, and down on the start there with a headwind there, it really makes it very, very rough for those first 250 meters.
And that was really interesting there because the Italians suddenly, they were almost in the lead and then just got held back. And it's the water conditions that are making it really tough, particularly in the first quarter of the race. It seems to be rougher there than at any other part of the regatta course.
In the far side there, Stomporowski, in the German boat there in the stroke seat. Multi medals. He's been one of the stalwarts of lightweight rowing in Germany. The Irish pair at the moment hitting the front there and just dealing with this rough water by whacking their legs down and making sure they stay clean at the finish of the stroke and don't get caught in.
This is typical Irish tactics, though, to go out very fast and try and stay there all the way. Whether they can do that, we'll see.
Yes, this Irish pair, they usually do a 4, but unfortunately due to illness and injury, they've had to go back into the pair. They've been pretty successful in this event before, and it's a surprise because it means next year they're going to have to try and qualify the 4 because they don't have a 4 here.
So it's Ireland and Italy just into second place, and then on the near side you can see the bow of the French boat. It was Vincent Montebel who was in the boat with Jean-Christophe Bett last year when they took the title, but now it's another young man, 19-year-old Jean-Baptiste Dupuy, who's got the responsibility of trying to retain this title for France through the first quarter. And that really is a very decisive start there, Dan. I mean, they've got clear water more than a length over the field, but can they keep this going?
Well, they're looking okay. They look as if that's the sort of rate they like to work at. Italy in second place, over a length behind. But remember, Italy have great finishers, and Bassolini, he's a very, very eccentric and funny character, and he's got great spirit. So I wouldn't write them off at the moment.
So Ireland, and they're opening up ahead of Italy, and that's Stefano Bassolini and Paolo Pitino who are in second place.
Yeah, Stefano was in the single last year, and he won the singles event, but he seemed quite happy to be in the pairs this year, and he seemed very encouraged about how they were doing, and he was talking about winning this event to me earlier in the week.
Well, I'm sure he'd want to do that. It would be a good consolation, but surely he's a man who'll be trying to look for a place in the lightweight doubles. The only problem about that, Dan, is that there's Mr. Crispy and Mr. Pettinari, to mention just two, who are at least as good as Mr. Bassolini.
Yeah, well, Mr. Bassolini is going to be looking for a place in the 4, I should think, during the winter. This pair looking pretty strong there, very typical leg drive with the Italian boats to keep the heads down, lots of leg drive there, and then the use of the back at the end of the stroke. But they sit back there and they drive it through the second half of the stroke, finish it off and into the headwind. That allows the boat to run well. France here just trying to get back on terms there with the leaders, but Ireland looking pretty comfortable out there in front. Experienced pair, really flowing along very nicely in their Stampley boat, and they're moving into the 1,000-meter mark, pretty untroubled and length and a half ahead.
Yes, the German's not showing at all in lane 1. Bernd Stomporowski, the boyfriend of Katrin Rutschau, in their own way, both personalities and both characters.
Yeah, they don't look like they're going to get caught. There's a lot of strength, a lot of experience, but it's Italy still sitting there about a length and a half behind and moving away from the rest of the field.
Italy in a very definite second place now. And then on the far side, now this is really interesting. Look at the Chileans, and they were nowhere earlier on. They were down in 4th place. through the first half of the race, and they are really moving forward. That's Christian Yantani and Miguel Cerda, and this is really good work because they're really going with the Italians, and this is a great performance here from the Chileans.
Great performance, because that is not a very fanciful lane there, but they're very horizontal in the way they work. Look at that stroke, man. It's just leg drive there and real power through the middle of the stroke. They're moving very well indeed, really stuck in there, and they are holding on to the Italians very well. And these two crews now putting a bit of pressure now on Ireland as they pass the boat tents.
Well, these three are away from the rest, and Ireland, well, I suppose you'd say that you give them odds-on chance from here on in, but it's not over until you get to the line, and the Italians now beginning to raise the rate again now, and they really do look good now. The Italians are beginning to really sharpen up, and they are looking much better now.
It's to swap from sculling to rowing and from sculling back to rowing, it's very hard to do. And you've got here Basilini really showing his class, the class he showed last year when he won the single. Yeah, just moved into the rowing side there, into this pair, and now under pressure though from Chile, these two crews still holding on to Ireland as they move into the last part of the race.
What a great scrap out there. It's worth mentioning, though, you talk about Basilini being talented, being, you know, a great winner, but also Bettino, when you consider medal back in 90 in the lightweight quad, and also in 96 and 97 and 98, he's a man who's used to winning, so they're not going to give in easily here. And you've got Chile in lane 2 and Italy in lane 3, and it could well be that these two scrapping out are going to draw themselves closer and closer to the Irish. There's Bettino facing you now. Interesting man, actually born in France, but represents Italy.
Italy just beginning to move out a little bit. Oh, look at them moving on the Irish there. They've closed that gap. They're overlapping now, Ireland. Chile taking a quick look across. They're hanging on to Italy. It's these three crews now.
I'll tell you what, those two Chileans look really strong. I don't think they're going to give in here easily, and of course they'll feel that they're getting closer to the Irish as well, so that'll give them a little bit of heart as well. So at the moment it's Ireland who had clear water, more than a length, and now the overlap's on, and it's on in a big way because it's almost down to half a length now, and the Irish are really struggling now, and I don't think they've got a great deal more to give.
Ireland now getting quite a bit shorter. They're beginning to hack at it as Italy starts to pull them back. Italy up to 42. Italy at 42 strokes a minute. Ireland under a lot of pressure, shortening up, finding it difficult to hold on. And here comes Italy.
Also, here comes Chile. Look at this. What a race to the line now. And it's the Irish being eaten up by the Italians, but the Chileans are still coming as well. And it's three boats. It's a three-boat war. And the Italians have got ahead of the men on the near side, Ireland, and they're now being hosed down by the Chileans who've got through and are chasing the Italians, and the Italians have got gold, the Chileans have got silver, and the Irish, well, it's lucky they were as far ahead as they were because they've ended up with the bronze.
Well, that was an incredible comeback from Italy. Remember the double just a little while ago, how that double came back from so far back, 4.5 seconds faster. This was the same kind of thing. That was an extraordinary last 500 meters from Italy. A fantastic, powerful piece of rowing at 43.5 strokes a minute.
So the Italians, who were silver medalists a year ago, take the gold. Chile move up from bronze to silver, and Ireland get the bronze. And those three well ahead of the rest.
Yeah, they really did open up 7 seconds on France, who were in 4th place. It was a great bit of rowing, but this Basilini is amazing. These guys will be fighting for places in the Coxless 4 for Italy to go to the Olympics next year.
Stefano on the left, Paolo on the right.
Stefano Basilini.
Yes, just 21 years of age. Long career ahead of him.
Pitino.
La gara è andata come ci aspettavamo, la speranza migliore era di fare una gara del genere. Sapevamo che i primi 1000 metri l'Irlanda è molto forte, non possiamo tenere questo passo, però dai 1000 in poi eravamo avvantaggiati noi, speravamo di riuscire a prendere alla fine, siamo riusciti.
Well, a disappointing turnout for the final of the women's lightweight quadruple sculls. Just 4 crews challenging. United States, Germany, Zimbabwe and Canada, who are closest to you. Germany, well, they won the first edition of this new category in 1997 and also last year, 1998. So trying to make it a hat-trick of victories, and they go away smartly in lane 2, 3 from the bottom of your picture, with the United States on the far side as we take a look at the Canadians with Katrina Scott in the stroke seat.
See how rough it is again. They're all catching their blades, all feathering a bit low. Germany perhaps having the best of it there, just getting over the... no, they're still catching blades as well. Very difficult conditions here. Maybe it's just blown up a little bit more towards the end of the racing session. The USA are going to be there in the far lane, in the worst station, but they're moving pretty well on that far side. Strong crew, good strong leg drive, moving pretty well there next to Germany.
And that could be the deciding factor here with those two crews being side by side. The Americans, by contrast to the Germans, much more experienced. They've got more racing miles underneath them than the Germans, who have got really relatively inexperienced scullers in the boat.
Well, already they've opened up quite a little bit on the other two crews. Zimbabwe really having quite a baptism of fire at this level of racing, but good that they're here representing Africa. Canada hoping to get in there in amongst the medals.
Yeah, I have to say, Miriam, it is disappointing turnout. We had 9 crews who entered last year, and we're down to 4 this year.
Yeah, it's a big shame. I think this event was put in to replace the 4 and to act as a feeder development boat for the lightweight doubles, which is a phenomenally subscribed event. And it's a shame that we've only got 4 entries here today.
Again, I have to question, just from my point of view, if you don't have 6 boats to complete a full final, should we be running it?
Well, I suspect that they won't be running it unless the federations start to back these events, because they really do spread the type of racing around the world, give a lot of other federations a chance to take part. And they've got to support it if they want to keep these events in the regatta program.
Looking at the Germans there, that's Angelika Brand in the stroke seat. Sitting behind her, Christine Morawetz, and then Anna Kleintz, and in the bow, Maya Darmstadt. That's the German quartet. Maya, first World Championships in the bow there. America, though, with 1,250 meters to go, with about half a length over the Germans, but there's still a bronze medal at stake here between Canada and Zimbabwe, with Canada at the moment looking the favoured of the 2 to get that.
Yeah, now the Americans moving out there in front. There's Canada sitting there looking pretty strong. Katrina Scott in the stroke seat. Behind her, Tracy Duncan, Renata Trock, and Natalie Marie Benzing in the bow seat. They look well together there. Riding a little bit steady. Maybe they've settled for the 3rd position, because they've got Zimbabwe well in their sights, and they're not going to get back on terms with the United States.
Yeah, I can't really see Tracy Duncan there at the moment. She's in the 3 seat. Just beginning to see her now. Interesting, retired in '93 and coming back now. And she has one great claim to fame that she's very proud of, that she beat Marnie McBean in a time trial. So that's a scalp that she'll always treasure.
Well, one to love, yeah. Well, through the halfway mark, it's the United States still out in front, but Germany hanging on very well. Only 3/4 of a length down, but the United States really going for it.
Essentially, this American crew's Californian outfit, Sherry Kiklas, who was 8th a year ago in the lightweight single sculls for the US. An artist by profession. She's setting the rhythm for the Americans, but you can see that the Germans are not going to be a pushover here. They've won this title twice. They're looking for that 3rd medal, but now it's perhaps open to 3/4 of a length now. Sitting in the 3 seat, Angie Cummins from California, as well, a teacher who says that when she's relaxing and watches television, she's a big fan of ESPN Sports Center.
And Molly Brook there as well. She was also in the single for a few years, so she's made a bit of a comeback this year in the quad. And it's nice to do it in style. It looks like they're getting a length. What are the Germans going to do to respond?
Yeah, Molly Brock, who, chatting to her, she says that when it comes time to give up rowing, then she aims to be a top show jumper. That's her other ambition in sport.
Oh, well, it's nice to have two options, isn't it? I can't catch and do anything else, so I just have to stick with rowing until I die.
Well, hang on till Sydney and a long way beyond that, please, Miriam. But meanwhile, back with the Canadians, who are in third place at the moment, and they're really on their own. They're not in the fight for gold and silver, and they're well ahead of Zimbabwe.
Yeah, it would be good to see at least six crews here competing for this event, because it's a lovely boat to row, a quad. It's a beautiful boat to row, and it's a great boat to practice in as well.
It'd be good to have a bit more competition here. These girls have all trained really hard all year, and they want to go out and have as good a race as anybody else in the other events, and it's a shame that they don't have that type of race here. But still, the Americans haven't got it all their own way. The Germans are still there. They haven't got clear water, and you're not comfortable in a boat unless you've got that clear open water in front of you.
Just the last 500 metres to go for the Americans, looking for that length advantage at the moment, but still the Germans very gritty, actually. They haven't let them go away, and in fact they've pulled it back from 3/4 to something like half a length now. So this is a very good performance by the defending champions, and it's a long way back, isn't it? Look at this, to Canada, and can we find Zimbabwe? I don't think we can.
No, but here Germany doing a fantastic job here as they come into the last 500 metres. It really is a race to the finish for these two crews, and Germany may be making a little bit now on the United States.
Yes, trying to just close that half-length deficit now, and Angelika Brand really asking for the effort. She's experienced, gold medalist a couple of years ago in the lightweight double sculls, Angelika Brand. She brings the experience to the boat, and now trying to really drive them on. It's still half a length, a little bit more, but at the moment it's Sherry Kickless who's asked for a little bit more from the Americans, and she's getting it now. And the Americans, with good support from the crowd on the far side there, and they're having a great finish to this regatta on the final afternoon, and everybody gaining in confidence now. And it's the Americans who do take the gold almost by a length as they cross the line ahead of the Germans, and Canada will come across the line in third place to take the bronze.
A long way back, and Zimbabwe quite a long way back from there as well. So Canada to take the bronze medal. The United States, a very competent row from them, very good, well, tight unit. They moved very well together, held off Germany, but Germany held on very well right the way through to the finish there, and it was overlapping at the finish.
But the experience of the Americans really paying off there to grab another gold and push them towards the top of the overall medal table. Germany ahead of Canada. Well, Zimbabwe, they've got one medal to take home from these championships.
The United States crew very well together, very tight, and very confidently stroked there. You see that good discipline, result of very good, hard training.
So these four women following in the footsteps of their men's 8.
USA.
Actually, when we shoved off the dock, I said, there you go, that's what we got to do no matter what happens. They got rowed through, and they came back, just a miraculous finish, and we knew that, you know, no matter what, you just always know you're going to win.
Penultimate final of the regatta, and this is a racing category which the Italians have rather made their own. The winners for the past 3 years. The men's lightweight quadruple sculls. Denmark in lane number 1. This is a new racing category for them. Spain likewise in 2, although they were 5th in 1995 in the lightweight quad. Germany, who were silver medalists in this last year. Franz Mayer, the man in the stroke seat, he was in the boat 12 months ago in Cologne. Then Ireland, they're in lane 4, rolling about a bit. They were 4th, just outside the medals. Italy, well, the champions last year. And Sancasani, the man in the stroke seat today, Franco Sancasani, also in the boat last year. And the United States of America, bronze medalists a year ago with the bow pair, Sean Groom and Ransom Weaver, medalists in this boat a year ago. So America closest to you, then Italy, and it should be perhaps, Dan, a dust-up between these two.
Yes, and the Italians really do enjoy quad crew sculling. They're very, very good at it. Interesting that the non-Olympic events are being very well supported by Italy, the United States and Germany. They're pretty well covering the field here and using it very much as a training ground for their top crews in the Olympic events. And here's Italy. They've gone straight out into the lead. This is the way they like to do it. Big leg drive, big push on the second part of the stroke there, and they've got three-quarters. They're just moving right away. They're moving now to three-quarters of a length up on the field as they go through the 250-meter mark.
Well, this is no leg tash. This is right from the gun.
Yeah, they're very good. Look how tough they are at the finish there. They're absolutely game. Number 2 man there, really strong there in that second part of the stroke.
Yeah, that's Daniel Gilardoni. From the bow, Simone Polani. Then in the 2-seat, Gilardoni. Then Baccioli in the 3-seat, and Sankasani the stroke. As we see the pack, as it were. There's Ireland in the foreground, on the far side Germany, then just beyond them Spain and Denmark. And the Spanish, I have to say, Dan, earlier on in the 90s, thought they were going to be a force, and they've really disappointed. They seem to have drifted away, and I don't know what has happened, but perhaps the fact that they've been awarded the World Championships in Seville, I think it's in 2002, perhaps that will provide some motivation for them to get back into top-class rowing.
Absolutely. I think Tor Nielsen was their coach in the 80s and did some very good work with them and really set them up, and they continued that for quite a while. But they had slipped off the pack. Ireland, look at Ireland now in second position at the moment. You see the difference between the Italians and the Irish. You just think of that Italian finish at the end of the stroke here and compare that to Ireland's stroke, which is much smoother around the finish there, much less aggressive and hard in the middle of the stroke. But they're moving well, they're picking it up well, they're well together, and they're just beginning to emerge from the following pack. But Italy out nearly 2 lengths in front and have this race, you get the feeling they got this race already wrapped up.
Far side there, Denmark with Spain. Chances of medals here for those crews for sure, but Denmark, not any particular pedigree in this particular boat class, but Ireland solidly in second place now, just on the far side, Germany.
As Germany begins to make a little bit of a move on Ireland, I'd say it's Germany. They're now trying to press into second place from Ireland. These two looking to find the silver medal. But I don't think anyone's going to catch this very strong, very effective Italian quad. Look at that, they're still really hard with that finishing. And 3 lengths, but they are in a class of their own. They go through the 1,000-meter mark, nearly 3 lengths up on the field.
Well, wow was the expression that comes to mind. And the Americans, who I thought might be in the fight in lane 6, they are adrift. That's the only way to describe them at the moment. They are well out of it.
This is Lamura training. He just sends those guys out round and round. They do tremendous mileage in the Italian squad, and it's really showing so well, particularly in the non-Olympic events. They are miles in front.
Well, Sankasani, the man in the stroke seat, I mean, he does have experience, because he's been in the gold medal winning boat for the last 3 years, so he knows absolutely what this is all about. But he's got some real talent, and we'll see them a little bit later. Germans, by contrast, quite young. The man facing you, Franz Meyer, he was in the boat last year, which took the silver medal. Just 22, the man behind him, Torsten Schmidt, well, he's only 20, comes from Hanover. He was 13th a year ago in the lightweight single sculls. And then Manuel Bremer for Germany. He's enjoying his first Worlds, and so is the bowman in the German boat. That's Dennis Niemeyer. So they, by contrast to the Italians in picture now, relatively inexperienced.
This crew just going for it, but Ireland look well clear there in second place. It's going to be tough for anybody to come back on them, but it's only Germany who have a shout. They're 3/4 of a length down, and Germany trying to make a move.
Well, perhaps that's a dangerous thing for you to say about Ireland after what's happened already this afternoon with the Irish fading so dramatically and being caught by the Italians and the Chileans. So nothing should be counted as we go through the 1500 metre mark. 500 to go now. And it's worth mentioning, not only, it's not just Sankasani, but the man there in the 3-seat there, that's Baccioli, real promise, a junior world silver medalist last year in the double sculls. So again, talent that's, you know, there for the future. And also 23-year-old Daniele Gilardoni, third last year in the Italian lightweight 8. So real talent there.
I love the way that they, you know, you really see them pick up the beginning of the stroke with their legs. They really fix the blade, feel it on the legs, drive the legs, and then finish off so powerfully through the middle of the stroke to the end of the stroke at the finish there. But here now, Ireland under considerable pressure from Germany. Germany have crept up in the last 250 metres, and here they are now, just a canvas down on Ireland. Ireland having to really fight to hold them off. It's going to be a real battle here, about a quarter of a length between Ireland and Germany. Germany really beginning to motor and move for it.
Yes, they've got that sense, haven't they? These four young men really now starting to believe in themselves and thinking that they can actually get at the Irish, and they're certainly doing that. You can see centimetre by centimetre, it's creeping ever closer. The two bows are going to be level almost in a flash, and the Germans are moving that much faster now, and they've got them. And they're past the Irish now, and for the Irish, who were fourth last year, they can be happy that they've got probably enough clear water to hold on this time to the bronze medal, because it's Spain, Denmark and the United States who are well off the pace at the moment. But there it is, the bow of the German boat in lane 3. That now goes into silver medal position. The Italians take gold, drop down and cruise and wait for the rest. And here they come. Germany timed it to perfection. They take the silver. Ireland do indeed get the bronze ahead of Spain. And then Denmark and the United States will finish 5th and 6th.
Well, that was a great, great effort from Italy. They just took it off from the start. They knew they were going to win. They were so aggressive that first part of the race, and they continued that right the way through, and they got better and better the further they went. Great bit of racing.
That's the difference between silver and bronze.
Yeah, and Spain pulled up well there in the last 500 metres.
So another gold medal to Italy, and their challenge at these World Championships in Canada now looking a lot healthier.
Well, there you go again. You can see the way that Italy just picks up the stroke there. They place the blade, take it on the legs, and then load on the thighs, on the legs as they drive through the stroke, and that big hard finish there at the end of the stroke.
Simone Forlani. Daniele Gilardoni. Mauro Baccioli. Franco Sankasani.
Siamo partiti abbastanza bene, siamo passati avanti ai 500, poi abbiamo allungato fino ai 1000, la barca andava veramente bene. Abbiamo attaccato come il nostro allenatore ci aveva detto, ai 1250 ci siamo sfilati ulteriormente, poi dai 1500 alla fine abbiamo cercato di controllare, man mano che l'acido lattico saliva, pian piano abbiamo cercato di portare la gara al termine e alla fine tutto bene.
And so to the last race of this World Championship regatta, the final of the men's Cox Fours. Won a year ago by Australia, not represented in this final. So we run down, starting from lane number 1, the United States, who were 4th a year ago. Next to them, Germany in lane 2. Germany with one survivor from last year's crew that finished 5th. That's Lars Erdmann in the bow. Next to them, Romania. They didn't make the final. They were 9th in the world ranking in the men's Cox 4 a year ago, although they have won this boat class in 1993 and 1994. Then Great Britain, who were 8th a year ago. Johnny Singfield in the stroke seat with Johnny Searle. Just behind him in 3, Richard Dunn and Graham Smith completing the quartet. Then Argentina. New challenge for them in the 4s this year. And completing the lineup, Italy in lane 6. Italy, who were bronze medalists a year ago.
Well, here again we've got a straight final. Unfortunately, at the draw, Canada pulled out. There were 7 entries. Canada pulled out, the host nation, and that left 6 crews for a straight final. So they've been waiting all week again to race this. Again, a very good event, and a pity that it's getting less and less support from the Federation. But here's Germany now, a little bit short, hacking away at it in the rough water as they take off. The United States on the far side, least favoured lane here. Very strong crew. These are some of the athletes who rode in the Under-23 championships earlier on, and they're a late selection and a bit of an unknown quantity.
Argentina in the foreground. Far side Romania.
Romania perhaps got the early lead. Very experienced people in this boat. You've got Targa at stroke, who really has done a lot of racing in 8s and in the sculls. He was a very good sculler for Romania as well 3 or 4 years back. But here he is now in the 4. And it's Argentina here in our picture, keeping well up in this hunt. South America producing some very good crews over these last 2 or 3 championships.
So Romania it is now who are setting the pace on the far side. Watch out for the black boat. That's the bow of the United States of America with Jake Wetzel it is who's in the stroke seat for them, and we should see a little bit more of them as we come into the second quarter of the race. And the Americans really beginning to move now on the Romanians. They've definitely moved into second place there, and vying for third, Germany. Although that graphic doesn't suggest so, but Germany, I don't believe that graphic is correct. I think they're closer up there than suggested. But at the moment, Romania in 3 from the United States in 1.
That's the blue bow there, number 4 there for Great Britain. Rather slow start for them, poor start. They've got Johnny Searle sitting in the 3 seat, who won a gold medal in the coxed pair at the Olympics in 1992 in Barcelona. But here's the United States, big powerful crew, good horizontal drive there, and they're just moving now into the lead past Romania. Oh, them and Romania just working it out there in the front. It's neck and neck between these 2 crews.
So again, this could be a race of 2 parts, in the sense that we could have a race for the gold medal and a race for the bronze. At the moment, the Americans beginning to get the better of the Romanians on the far side. Germany certainly in the hunt there with, I think, Great Britain. Pretty experienced crew, the British. You'd expect them to get a medal here, wouldn't you, Dan?
Well, indeed, they've been racing as a coxless 4 through the season, doing pretty well in Lucerne. They medalled in Lucerne, but here they are now beginning to move through. But Romania holding very well. United States just now easing into the lead, just as they cross the 1,000-meter mark. The rest of the crews, all 4 crews, pretty well in line across the course.
Well, as the caption says, this time I agree with the caption that Romania are just a fraction ahead of the United States. Interestingly enough, the British 1:41.33 for that second quarter means that they're moving faster than anybody else at this moment.
The United States are now heading the field. They really are motoring. They've got a lot of power there, and that really shows. Bit of water flying around, difficult conditions. The further they go, the flatter it gets, and they are moving. Romania beginning to drop back now. United States in 500 meters have taken a length off Romania, and they are now moving very well indeed.
Yes, the Americans well away, but also look at the fight that's going on now. In the foreground, it's Italy in lane 6, but also going pretty well, the Argentinians and Great Britain in lane 4. So it really is a battle. The Americans there with Jake Wetzel. He's the man in the stroke seat who, incidentally, his grandmother, I should say, represented America in the 1936 Olympics as a gymnast. So quite a pedigree in the sporting world in his family.
Well, I hope she's in the crowd there, but they have really opened up a lot on Romania, who are still just about holding second place.
Yeah, the Romanians are going to be under severe pressure in a minute, because the British are still moving pretty well at the moment. The Romanians just about holding their challenge, and at the moment it's really Germany that aren't really making any progress, and the Argentinians' advance has stopped as well. So through the third quarter of the race, America with clear water over Romania. Then Great Britain just in third, and the Italians hanging on there with an outside medal chance at the moment. But it's the Americans making the best of their way home now and looking very, very strong. And their cox there, Sean Mulligan. Well, he's a man who's got experience. Last year he got a silver medal in the lightweight 8 for the American squad, so he knows what this is all about. And he's in a very difficult position, isn't he? Because as a coxswain, he's stuck right over the far side there.
Yeah, he can't see anything really at all. Just open water in front of him, and that's probably how he likes it. But here, Great Britain beginning to make a little bit of a move on Romania. Romania slipping back, and Great Britain moving every single stroke. And just here, without the number, you've got Italy still in the hunt there for the medals, just trying to move up there with Great Britain past Romania. Romania hanging on there to third place now that Great Britain have moved past them. Great Britain beginning to catch up now with the United States. Almost got an overlap. Targa trying to hang on for the Romanians there in the stroke seat. But Great Britain now moving away from Romania and out after the United States.
Yes, and the Argentinians just on the right of your picture there also beginning to wake up. It's a bit late in the day, but they are moving up. And moving up from 5th place probably into about 4th. The Americans have still got that clear water. The British trying to get back and get that overlap going. It is working. They are closing at the moment, the British, and they are moving faster than any other boat on the regatta course. The last race, but the Americans are there. They've held a length, and the British are going to get a silver medal. And in fact, close to within 3/4 of a length, with Romania clinging on to the bronze ahead of Argentina, with Italy and Germany 5th and 6th respectively. So the Americans really finishing this last day with an absolute flourish of medals.
Yeah, United States finished top of the table with these medals in non-Olympic events. Very good effort there from their Cox 4, and some of those guys there will be vying for places in the Olympic boats during the winter when it comes to selection.
And that victory by the United States gives them their 6th gold medal of these World Championships.
It puts the United States on top of the table. Here again, a chance to see some very powerful rowing there from the United States Cox 4. Mike Tatey will be very pleased with the way his squad has performed there.
Garrett Klug, Thomas Murray, Daniel Protz, and Jake Wetzel with coxswain Sean Mulligan at the end of the line. The last medals to be given out by the president of the federation.
Well, unfortunately, I think this could be the last time that we'll be together. Maybe next year we'd be the straight four or something, but you never know. So everyone might have a different path. So this is our last little hurrah here as a boat. One race and we did it right.
So a World Championships of changing fortunes and changing conditions. But at the end of it all, it is the United States of America who top the medal table. 10 medals all in all, and no less than 26 countries go home from these World Championships with medals, underlining once again the healthy state of the sport. Time for us to take our leave from Miriam Batten, Daniel Topolsky. Thanks for your company. I hope you've enjoyed the action from St. Catharines in Canada. Tonight we party. Tomorrow the training begins once again.
Zurich in Canada and FISA, Zurich Financial Services Group is proud to sponsor the World Rowing Championships.